Julia here. As you can see, we are not in the normal filming location, and that is because I just didn't feel like it, to be honest. It has been a weird couple of weeks, and you know what? I just wanted to change it up a little bit. So we are sitting on the floor in my bedroom, and I was doing some quarantine cleaning when I came across this beauty. I gotta be honest, I've been kind of putting off looking in this box for a while because this is the box of every manuscript that I've ever written. And to be honest, I should probably go through it at some point, but instead of actually going through it today, I'm just gonna look at it, and I'm not gonna organize it. I'm just gonna look at it because that's more fun. Reminiscing about the past. So I was going to do that anyway, but I figured why not create some YouTube content and look through it with you guys. So let's do this. So I know for sure this is a copy of my current manuscript. Yes, it is. I have some beta reader notes here. I've announced the title officially so I can talk about it. It is for the collection of short horror stories called A Weighted Soul and Other Dark and Twisted Tales. It feels so good to be able to say that. So that's what this is, and I bet you a lot near the top is what that's gonna be. So we shall see. Yep, this is all A Weighted Soul. Now before you judge me for like printing everything out, I will say I only print out the manuscript, I would say once or twice, unless betas specifically request it. And if I do, I absolutely recycle any manuscripts like once I'm done using them. Some of them I like to save, or most of them I like to save, just so I can reminisce and look back over old copies. Like this, for example, is a copy of the Scavenger. Old memories. So you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a pile of each. So I'll make a pile of Scavenger, a pile of Missing Her, and then a pile of A Weighted Soul, and we're gonna see at the end who has more copies or more pages. I'm gonna guess that Missing Her will, just because Missing Her is the longest, so it's probably gonna be the thickest manuscript, but we shall see. Recently I found a bunch of Scavenger copies, so that's probably what all of those are. I saved this. This is from my very first book signing. I have a bunch of emails from people that signed up for my email list. If you are not signed up for my email list, be sure to go to my blog and put in your email so you do not miss a single update about all my related stuff. This is a throwback, okay? Look how thin this is. This was the first draft of the Scavenger. This was completed February 12th, 2017. Oh my lord, it is so small. It was like 20,000 words, I think, when I finished it. And I knew that there were like a couple of spots where I knew I needed to add stuff, but overall just I needed to flesh out the characters more. At the time this was written, it was titled The Webs That Bind the City. And that was due to a scene that I eventually cut between one of the characters. This was a book I wrote in 2nd grade, Luke Forts and the Evil Sign, and basically it was just a rip-off of Harry Potter. I had, oh my gosh, I just have so many copies of stories that are like blatantly rip-offs and just like complete stolen ideas from Harry Potter. I remember talking in the car with my mom once, and I was talking about this story that I was writing at the time. I was like in 3rd grade, and I remember talking to her, and I was like, what if instead of owls delivering the mail, they had like dragons delivering mail? And she was like, no, that's still too close to Harry Potter. And I was like, but what if the dragons breathed fire and they could teleport? And she's like, no, like you don't understand. Like the concept of a winged creature delivering mail is Harry Potter. And I just could not get it in my head, so that was very funny. This is the first formatting pages that I did for the Scavenger. So I did the formatting of the Scavenger myself, and you can see I printed it on these pages, and I just to see what how big the font was, how clear it was and everything. So that was fun. It's kind of disgraceful how much I have here. Oh yeah, okay, so can we take a moment? This is Scavenger. This is Missing Her, okay? Like, real big. Alright, so for a while Missing Her was titled Out of Body. I eventually changed it to Missing Her, but Out of Body stuck for like 6 months. And because the reason I changed it was because Out of Body focused too much on the concept. There are actually 3 moments where there is someone missing her. And it's 3 different hers that are being missed. So like, you have to go throughout the story. So for the most obvious one is Vanessa missing Eliza, because Eliza's missing. So Vanessa is missing her. But you'll have to figure out what the other 2 missing hers are throughout the story. This was the first outline for that. You can see just my chicken scratch. And actually a lot of this stuff stuck. Not the names didn't stick. I just had I just thought of some first names, and I eventually changed it according to how I felt about their characters. This is all missing her. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. That's missing her. I couldn't even fit a clip around it. And now these, if I remember, yes! Oh my gosh! These are the very first arcs of the Scavenger. Aw, and I had a bunch of post-its in here when I flipped through all of the things that I needed to change. The problem with having these proofs though is I kind of ordered too many, and I didn't know about releasing advanced reviews and stuff before, because I was still very new at this. So I ordered I think 12, and I gave some to my close friends and my family, but everyone else wanted to buy it, and I was like, wait, what do I do with these arcs? What do I do? Because obviously I can't sell them because they're proofs. Now I know what to do with them, but I just keep these here now as kind of a memory. Okay, this is really funny. So when I was daydreaming in class, my entire sophomore year was the Scavenger, basically. When I think of that year, all I can think of is the Scavenger, because it enveloped me just because I had to figure out how to do everything. With missing her, I was doing college stuff, so it was kind of hard to be totally absorbed. I was still very absorbed, but the Scavenger was different because I was still trying to figure everything out. When I would think of certain sequences and stuff, I would picture them in my head and I would sketch them. So what I did was, on all my notes sheets, I hope you can see that, on all of my notes sheets that I would sketch on, I would cut out that part, and then I would glue it in here. So there's a bunch of really nice scenes. Actually, some of these scenes got cut. Yeah, a couple of them got cut. That's okay. It happens. This is the big one. These are the very first manuscripts that I ever wrote. So this was first grade. This was 2,000 Miles to Squigmire. I did a reading of this before. Oh my gosh, if you want to, you can look at that if you want. I'm not going to. This was a story that I started to write called How to Survive a Ski Vacation, and basically it was just all of the crazy memories that I had, because we used to take a ski vacation every year in the winter over winter break, and I have so many crazy stories from that. One time we stayed in a castle for the week. It was I don't even know how we got to rent it. It was a literal castle on top of this hill, and it was a 2-mile driveway. It was crazy. I have so many crazy stories. You know what? I should pick that back up because that was really fun. This was pre-writing for a fantasy story that I never did. So this was just mapping out the culture and the hierarchy of it was a medieval kind of style thing, but I just kind of moved away from that. This is Give Me a Voice, which this is a coming-of-age fiction. Actually, I published this on Wattpad. So if you go on Wattpad and you look up Give Me a Voice, you're gonna find that story, and you're gonna find some other stuff too. I mean, you can if you want. I don't recommend it, but... Alright, this was my very first story. Yeah. This was my first, I would say, real story called Apocalypse Chronicles. So basically what it was going to be a different story surrounding a different type of evil paranormal creature. So the first book was called Blood, and it was about vampires. And then the second book was going to be about zombies, and it was going to be called Brains. And that was actually not that it was a good story, but it actually was the first time that I actually took the time to do research for backstory. I did research about vampires, and I tried to put my own twist on it, and I had individual character arcs and things. And I mean, they weren't fleshed out. I was in 4th grade at the time, so I was still very new to all of this. But looking back, I'm impressed with past Julia for like taking the time to do all that in 4th grade, and I remember like how difficult it was like trying to conceptualize everything. And I was reading, and I read Lord of the Rings in 4th grade, so my reading level was like crazy beyond what I could possibly write, but I was still trying to emulate all of the things that I read. And yeah, I eventually kind of was able to get the hang of it, but for a while there it was pretty frustrating. Alright, so let's look at the final tallies. So, this is Scavenger. This is Missing Her. So yeah, Missing Her definitely wins. And then this is 3 manuscripts for A Weighted Soul, but there are more. Some of them are out in the world currently. So yeah, that's that. I really should go through this more and like take the time to recycle what needs to be recycled, but it just makes me happy to look through. I like looking at the stories at different stages and stuff, and I don't know, I like to reminisce about the past and see how far the stories have come along. Sorry if there was a slight change there, my camera shut off for some reason, but I hope you guys had fun looking through all of this with me. Let me know if you'd like me to talk a little bit more about my old work. I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy and having as much fun in quarantine as you can. Thank you guys for stopping by. Bye!